Aviva Raz-Shechter is known as the First Lady of the Israeli Foreign Ministry by me, and her official title is the Director of the Department for Anti-Semitism and Holocaust Issues here in Jerusalem at the headquarters of the Foreign Ministry. Prior to her current position, Aviva served at the Embassy of Israel in Washington, D.C. as the Minister Counselor for Public and Academic Affairs. Aviva also held various positions in Canada, Jordan, and in the main office of the Foreign Ministry in Jerusalem.
It is indeed an honor to be here with you, with the Schaefer family, in memory of Avi. I met Yoav in my office some month ago and was touched by the story. And I think that we need to follow such models as Avi was. And this is the best way to fight against the campaigns that we are facing these days. After the previous speakers, and since so many issues were raised here, I will try maybe to take some of the subject and touch upon them. We are living in a world of absurdities. As a matter of fact, while we are here, we are also witnessing in the last few weeks historical events around us that nobody knows yet how they will develop, but for sure they will have an impact on us as the State of Israel in the Middle East and upon the whole world. We have seen how the social media, Facebook and Facebook and others, can bring down dictatorships, and this is what is really happening. And we see that there is a generation of young people in the Arab countries around us that does not really care about the Palestinian-Israeli conflict necessarily, but more about their freedom, about the future, and hopefully about a dialogue with their counterparts everywhere. This is what we need to aspire for. We don't know yet what is going to happen, but certainly there are lots of question marks these days. And if indeed things will follow in a better way so that Israel will be a model of democracy in this area, then maybe the BDS movement will lose its main and core idea, because it is indeed an absurd idea. When we see this unholy alliance between what we call the green and the red, when I say the green, we call those fundamentalist Islamist circles that are going together, marching together with left liberal, mainly progressive, I would say extreme left circles in Europe. Sometimes we see it in Northern America, but mainly what we have seen in the UK, where during already the Second Intifada and afterwards, we have seen groups of Islamists marching together with those who call themselves intellectuals, human rights activists. And in the same demonstration, we see those plaques that are calling Jews, we are all Hamas, Jews to the gas. So as we heard, the campaign against Israel can be totally an anti-Semitic campaign, a follow-up to the Durban I conference in 2001. That was indeed a watershed that showed how a conference against racism turned to be a conference against Zionism, against the State of Israel, and an anti-Semitic campaign. In 2009, April 2009, the follow-up for Durban was convened by the Council of Human Rights in Geneva. And by the way, I'm sure you know about the Council of Human Rights that adopts mainly resolutions against Israel, although it needs to deal with human rights. And at that conference again, Ahmadinejad was given the podium in order to talk as a human rights activist. By the way, the main countries leading this council at the time were Libya, Pakistan, and Iran. Of course, the real models for human rights. And in this world of absurdity, we were fighting against this follow-up to Durban and succeeded in, first of all, turning the whole arena there to be more of a pro-Israel than an anti-Israel campaign. And as you recall, very many countries left the hall when Ahmadinejad spoke. This coalition that was built then against the Durban review process was a very good example for how we can campaign together in order to delegitimize the delegitimizers. And I think that the very important thing for our generation on campuses and elsewhere is really to build coalition with very many people out there that are ready to listen and to dialogue. We should not waste our time on the extremists, but there are lots of people in the center that are willing to listen, that are not saying, don't confuse me with the facts. And while being in Washington, D.C. during 2000 to 2005, during the second Intifada, on very many campuses, I have seen this phenomena where people don't know the facts. We are living in a world of ignorance, and those who suddenly hear the basics, as Einat mentioned before, going back to the basics, are being confused and really say, don't confuse me with the facts. We need to insist on teaching the basics, on teaching the facts, and speak to those who are ready to listen, build with them the coalition, and fight those delegitimizers. By the way, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has created a new body that is fighting against the assault on Israel. We don't like the word delegitimization. Very many people don't know what it's all about. I'm sure you're all aware of it, but many people out there don't even know how to pronounce well the word. As Yoav said at the beginning, it's a hard word to pronounce, so maybe we should use the term assault on Israel. And in this assault on Israel, once we can convince our partner that listens to you that Israel is a democratic state, we are ready to hear any criticism of the policies of the government. We are not perfect, but not everything is black and white. And once we can show that when you criticize policies, that's okay, but when you cross the boundaries by the 3 Ds that at the time Natan Sharansky mentioned, delegitimizing Israel. Israel means delegitimize the right of Israel to exist as a Jewish state and the right of the state of Israel for self-defense. Delegitimization is the first D. And then the demonization of Israel, whereby we heard that Israel becomes the Nazi state, the IDF becomes the new SS. It is not only demonization, but it is also kind of a new denial of the Holocaust, a new banalization of the Holocaust that turns Israel to be the new Nazi and maybe clears the conscience of many Europeans that can handle better Israel as a neo-colonial apartheid state and not face their own past. And the last one is the double standards. The double standards is exactly what the Council of Human Rights is doing to Israel and in many other international arenas. Israel is always mentioned, although there are so very many places in the world that have real problems about human rights, about women's rights, and this is where those human rights activists should fight. So we need to try and break this, first of all, unholy alliance between the green and the red, whereby left liberals, who were once our best partners, especially until '67, who saw the state of Israel as part of this Western world with Western values, and we share them all, and now they are going against us, seeing us as the apartheid and new colonial state. This goal is not easy, as we know, but it is possible, and again I'm saying we don't know yet what the future brings, but what happens around us gives us hope that maybe we will have a new and open dialogue with those who aspire for democracy and human rights and involved Israel as part of it. You know, these days we had the International Book Fair here in Jerusalem. I just wanted to mention that the Italian novelist Umberto Eco related to the calls for boycotting Israel on the academic levels, on the economic levels, on cultural levels, and said and called it purely racism. He was not the only one. Also, the British novelist McCowan, who was confronted with so very many in the UK who didn't want to accept the fact that he will go and get the Jerusalem Prize at the International Book Fair, he also criticized the Israeli policies in his speech, but he did not accept and clearly said that boycotting is not a way to promote peace. And that's indeed what we need to convey, that by delegitimizing a state, you will not promote peace, you will only continue and deteriorate the problem. We know that the BDS movement does not have a real human rights goal, but it has a political goal. If Israel becomes the size of a tennis court, it will not be enough. Those are, as Yossi mentioned, those are anti-Semites, and this is the new anti-Semitism. It is not a new phenomenon, I must say, although we call it the new anti-Semitism. In 1975, when Zionism was compared to racism, we already saw how quickly things deteriorated to after the Holocaust and the establishment of the State of Israel. But what is important is to be proud of Zionism, to rebrand Zionism, and to and not to let those delegitimizers win. I think that, and I've heard it from several knowledgeable people who said that they feel that we might be at the peak of this BDS movement. I must tell you that from all our consulates who convened last week to discuss the issue of the Apartheid Week during the month of March, we heard that many initiatives, by the way, were cancelled. It doesn't look as bad as it looked a few weeks before, and we are hopeful that by building coalitions, by fighting back, we will be able to show those delegitimizers that they are on the wrong side and we are on the safe side. Thank you.